So hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Question Block. And the last question was, what is your favorite remake that has been released on the Switch so far? So there are actually quite a lot of remakes on the Switch, especially Nintendo published ones. And there are some more remakes on the way, so I think it's a pretty good time to talk about some of the ones that have been released previously. And keep in mind, with some of the responses, some of them do mention remasters, but some of these remasters are important or are pretty interesting, so I do think they're worth mentioning alongside these remakes, even though they aren't necessarily remakes in themselves. But yeah, let's go ahead and read some of the responses here. So Cooper Productions 64 said, Miitopia on the Switch. Basically, it improved everything from the original. More customization for the Miis, a more balanced leveling up system. The original game felt way slower from my experience. The horse being a nice feature, the relationship tickets, the relationship system was too grindy in the original, improved visuals and music. The best part of all, this whole remake was sold for $40 if I recall correctly. It's genuinely one of the best remakes I've seen for any game I've played. Yeah, Miitopia is great. I've played both the original and the remake. I mean, I haven't finished the original version of it, but I did play through the remake, and the remake is great. It just changes, like, all of the kind of the small nitpicks and little problems that I've had with the original, and it's just genuinely a great version of Miitopia overall. And my favorite thing that they added was, like, basically the new Mii Maker, with the fact that you could kind of go crazy with the customization on the Miis. And there's been like a lot of crazy things that have been made with the Mii Maker on there. Like, for example, one of the ones that I made was Scrupulous Fingor. But people have also made things like Peter Griffin, Garfield, Sans, Morshu, a ton of other things. People are still making them, but some people have even made like certain images in the faces and things. Like someone did like Hotel Mario, and different things like that. And then like there's just a ton of these, and they're like really impressive overall. And it's definitely one of the best iterations of like character customization that Nintendo has put out. It's just really cool what you could do with this. So it kind of made the sports baits, Nintendo Switch Sports, even more disappointing since that was just a year later after this. But yeah, Miitopia is great, and also the other things that you mentioned as well. The relationship tickets were nice, the horse was pretty cool, everything felt more streamlined, and it's just genuinely a great remake. So yeah, UV Hunters said, I know this isn't a remake, but I love that Pikmin 1 and 2 are now available on the Switch, because Pikmin 2 is my favorite game of all time, and of course, I can't wait for Thousand Year Door remake for next year. Yeah, even though Pikmin 1 and 2 are more so ports than remakes, I still really like the fact that they're on the Switch now. It's still really nice. I mean, it's kind of the same idea of having like certain remakes, basically kind of bringing over that old game onto the modern console and everything. Even though these are just ports and not remakes, it's still really nice to have them on there. Since the Pikmin games, I feel like they definitely deserve more attention, and I'm glad more people are playing them now. So yeah, RKMC here said, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. I love how HAL, no pun intended, added so many quality of life changes and new content like sub-games and the Magolor epilogue. That is how you do a remake. Yeah, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe is amazing. It's definitely up there as one of my favorite 2D Kirby games now, like with all of the things that they've added here. And it's just really cool to see like all of the things that they've packed into here. It's almost on the level of like Kirby Superstar Ultra. I mean, maybe not exactly on that level, but I would say it's kind of the modern equivalent of Superstar Ultra, just with the stuff that they added in here, like with the sub games, there's like basically it's kind of a celebration of the sub games throughout the series. Like you kind of have like ones from like each era of Kirby, and I love the fact that my favorite sub game, Checkerboard Chase from Kirby 64, is in there. That just made it absolutely amazing for me. But yeah, the sub games were really cool. They even added like a couple new ones as well, which was really cool. And then the masks were another cool thing. It was kind of a part of that 30th anniversary of Kirby celebration, since that was still going on when that game released earlier this year. And there's like a ton of really cool masks in there. Like some of them are like pretty deep cuts as well. So no relation to Splatoon 3, but yeah, I think it's pretty cool that they had like a lot of those masks like kind of representing each mainline Kirby game. There were even like a couple ones representing the spin-offs. I think like maybe like Asia or one of the characters like that were in there somewhere. But it was really cool. I really like the masks, even though like some of them were a bit cursed. Like I was using the line one a lot, because I thought it was kind of funny, and I like Kirby 64. But the Magolor epilogue was also really cool as well. I actually played through that like entirely with multiplayer, with my friend Hunter, and like on stream and everything, we were making all of those Wagalore, Wario jokes and everything. It was pretty memorable and pretty funny. But yeah, the Magolor epilogue is great. Definitely a great addition, and I really like the skill tree that they have there with certain things that you can kind of add, like certain abilities, and kind of basically make Magolor just stronger with certain abilities. But yeah, that was really cool. But overall, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe is an excellent remake. So, Diego said, I say Link's Awakening is the best Nintendo remake that has come out in this whole era, in my opinion. Mario RPG and Thousand Year Door remake might top that, though. You know, I actually agree. I love the Link's Awakening remake. It's just, I know I've been saying, like, I love all of these previous remakes, but honestly, Link's Awakening is actually my favorite out of all of them. They just really, like, nail that chibi style there, and I mean, even though some people feel that that wasn't the original intended style, I still think it looks very nice. And I feel like that's the perfect way of adapting like a top-down 2D game. I know Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl pulled it off very poorly, but I don't think the sentiment behind the art style in those games was bad at all. I think Link's Awakening looks great with its art style and everything, and it just, I feel like it's the best example of like a faithful adaptation of a game, and it's just really nice overall. I feel like it's almost like the perfect evolution of like 2D top-down Zelda as well, with how it feels. Because it just feels very smooth, and it already takes like the great controls that were in Link's Awakening and kind of makes them feel even better in the modern style. The music also sounds amazing as well. I really like how they handled the soundtrack here. Link's Awakening already has one of the best older Zelda soundtracks. I mean, like, at least prior to Ocarina of Time. But hearing that fully orchestrated was great as well. And seeing some of those Mario characters, or I guess even like Kirby characters in the game, that was pretty cool. Well, I guess the only Kirby character is just the anti-Kirby thing. But seeing all of those references to like other Nintendo franchises kind of fully adapted in Link's Awakening was amazing. Like seeing characters like Wart, and then even that guy from SimCity on the SNES. That was just really cool to see those characters in HD. But yeah, definitely my favorite remake so far. I definitely agree with you. But yeah, Mario RPG and Thousand Year Door will probably top that for me, just due to the fact that I kind of am a little bit obsessed with the Mario RPGs. Maybe a tad bit obsessed with the Mario RPGs. But yeah. So Jonah5205 said, technically a remaster, but mine is Metroid Prime. Yeah, Metroid Prime was a great remaster. I mean, in some ways, it's almost on the level of a remake. I don't think it was remade in a new engine, but it does have a really nice visual style to it with this remaster. It still looks very nice overall, and it definitely kind of like it almost looks like a Switch, like a basically a current gen Switch game. I mean, not current gen, like PS5 or Xbox Series X, obviously, but like current gen as in Nintendo's current gen, like with the Switch and everything. It kind of looks like a game that was made for Switch. Like, it doesn't actually look like a GameCube game with how they adapted it here. It looks very nice, and it was just pulled off very well. And it just feels very fluid with the controls, and it seems like very, like, minor things were tweaked to make it even better. Like, Metroid Prime is already an amazing game. Definitely one of my favorite Metroid games, but, this remake definitely took it to the whole other level here. But yeah, I feel like one thing they could have changed about it is have, like, either auto-saves or the ability to save at any time, since it is a bit archaic that still use the save system that it did, so I do kind of have that nitpick, but other than that, it's a pretty great remaster. Now Pichu said, the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters, I'm counting it as one game, it's all on one cartridge. I really love how they filled out all the original 10 Final Fantasy games all on one system. I love a good RPG, so 6 of them together, I couldn't ask for more. And Final Fantasy III for the Famicom was one of my first RPGs, but I loved that seeing it in its 16-bit graphical redo, get a modern reimagined music, and still keep the core of the game. Yeah, the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters look great from what I've seen. I haven't played many Final Fantasy games, and I haven't played the Pixel remasters as well, but I should check it out sometime, because I've been wanting to play Final Fantasy VI for a while. That's like the one that I've been kind of interested in, due to the fact that Takahashi, who was involved with the Xeno games and Xenoblade and everything, was involved with Final Fantasy VI. So I definitely want to check it out sometime. But yeah, the Pixel remasters look great, and it's really cool to have so many Final Fantasy games available on the Switch. So, Pokemaster said, I wish Twilight Princess HD and the Wind Waker HD had been ported over. This leaves the Switch without a must-play, fantastic 3D Zelda. One must-play 2D Zeldas in Link's Awakening. As for my favorite that's actually been released, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition by far, it's practically fixed all of the issues I had with the original, including making the menus far more readable and the equipment stat screen more easily comprehensible. And the appearance system is also brilliant. I love that customization. Second would have to be the Link's Awakening. The GBC version is still excellent to this day, yet the Switch was able to make it better thanks to the improved visuals and sound quality, along with having more buttons than the Game Boy Color. I'd love to see Oracle get the same treatment, but they might not be as good as Link's Awakening. But they're still great games that need a larger screen and extra buttons. Yeah, I absolutely agree with Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I just want to go ahead and say that. Yeah, I really feel like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess should also be ported to the Switch. I think that would be great, and I'm kind of surprised that they haven't already, especially since we got Skyward Sword. So I definitely think those should be ported at some point, but with Xenoblade Definitive Edition, that was actually my first Xenoblade game. I played it in 2020 when it released, because I heard, like, some of my friends, like, on Discord, like Xenoblade and everything. They played Xenoblade 2, and I was thinking, maybe I should get into the Xenoblade series, and I saw that they announced, Definitive Edition and everything, so I tried it out when it released, since it was during the pandemic and I had nothing better to do. So I played through it, and it was absolutely amazing. And I can't really speak much for the original, but it's just great how, like, accessible Definitive Edition is. It's just great overall. And it was definitely a really good introduction to the Xenoblade series for me. I really enjoyed it, and it definitely got me to play Xenoblade 2 and Xenoblade 3. I haven't finished Xenoblade 2, but I've played through Xenoblade 3 and its DLC fully, and Xenoblade 3 is now one of my favorite games of all time. So if it wasn't for Definitive Edition, I wouldn't have even gotten into the Xenoblade series, which is now actually one of my favorite RPG series. So I'm definitely thankful for Definitive Edition for getting me into Xenoblade and everything. And I forgot to mention, I've also played X as well, but I need to play more of that. But yeah. And then with Link's Awakening, I already mentioned that, but I really like how you mentioned the fact that the Switch has more buttons and everything, since that's definitely one thing that Link's Awakening with the remake greatly improved over the original. It's definitely much less clunkier than it was in the original game, with the fact that you don't have to like swap through on different important items and everything, and it doesn't leave you defenseless if you have to have like certain items and everything. But yeah, I really like that improvement specifically. But yeah, anyways, those are some of the best remakes on the Switch, according to all of you. But yeah, so the next question is, what is your favorite 2D Mario game prior to Wonder? So yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server if you want to. Goodbye.